is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Erik at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard to a Friday show. Hope you all are hanging in there. I hope we have a good finish to our Sunday night. Not feeling good about it, but what could I tell you? It's just, I don't have a peaceful, uneasy feeling right now, as the Eagles would say. I wish I had a peaceful, uneasy feeling. I just don't have that right now. Now, for crypto, hey, by the way, I don't want you all to get spoiled now. I dropped the neutron bomb on your ass. Hey, it's at 97, 98, and it went to $1.45. I think it's like at $1.39 or 36 or something. It went down a little bit after it blew up to an all-time high. So don't get spoiled now, because I know some of you are doing the neutron dance right now. You're like, yeah, it's 135 right now. We nailed it. Yeah, you jumped on at 96, 97, 98, 99 cents, and then it pops to 135, 140, 145. You're loving life.
Yes, sir. I told you. And this is only the beginning. The neutron bomb, baby. Oh, man. It's nice. It's nice to do that. I know guys like Sneak Attack and Brooklyn Rob. They understand because they like get on these things when I talk about them, and they ride. They know they're making money. They know. So those of us that are on the neutron dance, we are, of course, loving life this morning, which is a absolutely beautiful thing. Oh man. True Fin Fan says he farted in his jacuzzi and nobody noticed. Well, until the bubbles pop, and then you kind of smell the bubbles. That's what ends up happening. Chase 1 is in first, then True Fin Fan. A win plus keeping Buffalo out of the playoffs would be glorious. It would be. It would be like perfect, actually. I was talking to somebody that if even if you lose this game, but if you beat Kansas City, it's not so bad. It's a pretty decent season. So, now if you could beat Buffalo and beat Kansas City, now that would be one amazing finish to the season. That would be, now I would feel a little better because that means that McDaniel must have done some marvelous coaching. Must have done some great in-game management in order to win both of those games. And that's kind of, besides the injuries, it's the in-game management stuff that I worry about in these moments. But this will be a good test for him either way. It's just man, you look at this situation, it's just a tough one. It's a really, really difficult situation for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday night. Ray Sosa is in. He's praying for a miracle. Alexis Palenzuela. Giovanni is in. The Panthers are on a roll. Nice 4-1 win against Vegas last night. Watched the game and throughout, and it was going to be a long night the way it started. Bob shut out the door the first 10 minutes, and we took off. Yeah, he had, 26 saves, man. He was good. He was good. And Giovanni reminds everybody to smash that like button. Crypto Fins is in. Brooklyn Rob says, you think the U will sign to the other Tunga Vailoa if he gets his waiver? I don't know, man. We're going to have Manny on at 11, and we'll ask him because they can't get a quarterback. And they've got Cardale Jones, former quarterback, ripping into the cane. So we'll get into that. Cap for Life is in. Steven Gonzalez, Joseph, Nizzle, John Padilla, Josh, Louis Beltran, One-Eyed Jack, Sneak Attack, Jay Gelfin, Kyle Cockrell. I think you will like it. Check it out. It's bullish because it allows Ethereum dApps on the Solana chain. Very bullish, great utility. And you like utility plays, just check it out. What are we talking about, Kyle? Check it out. I think you will like it. Did you put in a text before that I missed? It's bullish, allows Ethereum dApps on the Solana chain. Very bullish. I'm Kyle, I obviously you're talking about something, but I don't know what you're talking about to check it out that I will like it. You gotta tell me what it is, my brother. Rosendo is in. He says, kickstarting the first Friday of the year with good vibes and positive energy. Let's make it a day to remember. Enjoy a well-deserved downtime. Own this day like a boss. I did. I got into Pendle. I mean, Pendle went up to 150 something and it dropped now to 143. And so I jumped in now. I didn't have any Pendle, and I love Pendle. Remember, I gave you a bunch of them that I didn't have, and they all exploded. So I was able to diversify a little bit, and I did get into Pendle. So it's going to be a great day now that I got into Pendle. Let's see what else. Chase 1, Louis Beltran, Lisa Rose, Dan B. Matthew Lean, Rod, not sure if you discussed this. Did you hear that Patrick Queen said the Ravens? Yes, I have not talked about it, but I have the story on the docket. We will get to it. What a win with the Panthers. I know. It's the Panthers are the best team in town. Period. End of story. They were the best team in town last year, and they're the best team in town this year. And so that's those are the facts. We have to give them their props. You know. Jamesville is in. Brian Landis, EJ Barro says, "I'll be your Huckleberry." Oh, Tommy Mayer. My first message must not went through. It's called. Oh no, yeah, Neon EVM. I know Neon EVM. Yes, very good company. Very good company. Yes, I know Neon EVM. Yes, I know it. Yeah, I just can't afford to get into every coin. I just can't. I don't have the money. I'm not rich. You know what I mean? I'm a working stiff. So there's a bunch of them that I like, and I just can't get into it, man. And I'm watching them blow up, and I'm like, damn, bro, if I had the money, it would be good. And I could, it's just what I know. I can't really put it to like, explosive use. I wish I could. Put it this way. Look, I'll give you an example. I just gave you one. Neutron. Okay? So us working stiffs, we put 100 in a Neutron, and it became about 130, 140. Right? Okay. Those of you that have like bigger money. So if you put 1,000 into Neutron, like I put 100, you would have gotten $300, $350, $400 because it went between 30 and 40%. You could have gone out if you felt like it. It's going to go way higher. So we got, a broke ass man like me has got to ride it. But you rich people out there. So think about this. If you had $100,000 and you put it into Neutron when I told you, you would have had an extra $30,000 or $40,000. If you put $1 million, you would have had an extra $300,000 or $400,000. For me, the 30 or 40 is what I got to live with. But for those of you out there, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like the big money people can make big money. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. Like I may have put 100, but the person out there that's got money put 10,000 and he picked up an extra $3,000-$4,000. The person that put 100,000 picked up an extra 30 or 40,000, and the person that put in $1 million picked up an extra 300,000-400,000 on that one tip I gave you on Neutron. You know what I'm saying? So it's just what I know would be dangerous with real money. Because think about it. You put $1 million, you get 300,000-400,000, you pull it out, right? And then you can find your next one, and you just keep killing it like that way, and especially when there's a dip, you know exactly when to get in. And this is what rich people do. That's why they can stay rich, because they're smart. You know what I mean? I know exactly what they're doing. The problem is I'm not rich. So it's hard to get rich. Anyway, let's see. Jamesville, where are we at here? Ray Grullon, howdy. Oh, run the ball. The Bills are suspect. No, they suck against the run. So they better get it done. Let's see. Brian Walters says, Big O, Sean, everyone smash the like button. We could have our first 12-win season in over 30 years. God, I hope so. 80 dances, Paul in Connecticut. Let's go, Finns. It's all out war. NorCal is in. Coffee, a fatty, and the Big O Show. There we go. Spark it up. Frankie Fresco, good morning. Big game on Sunday night. Never knew. Let's see. My concern with Reek not practicing yet. I'm assuming he would return today. Hope all is good with him and his family. Well, the family's good. Just got to keep the kid away from fire. And unfortunately, he's got to fix the house now. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what, Mike, when I look at this game, right? Okay, I'm going to compartmentalize. One of the words we love using on this show, right? The fan in me, the heart in me. All right, let's go, Dolphins. Yeah, you got to win this. You got to get this, win the division, 12 wins, all that kind of stuff, right?
then my head takes over and says, these people are so injury depleted now at this point. They've got so many players out. And I'm watching Tyreek in a boot all week. I'm watching Achan in a boot. I'm watching Mostert not practice. Okay, so these are your three fastest players, your three biggest playmakers, and they're all injured. And your fourth biggest playmaker is not playing in Waddle. Not order, okay? I know Waddle would be number 2 or 3, however you want to look at it with him and Mostert. But I understand all that. But my point is, look how injured they are. And we cannot act like this is, the early part of the season where most people are healthy and they've got most of the team. They don't. And then there's a whole bunch of people playing all effed up with all kinds of injuries. It's just that's my problem with this game, that my heart wants them to win. I'll be rooting for them. I'm going to try to find a new lucky hat. I don't know which one we're going to wear. I'm going to try everything possible. Okay. I'm even going to sit in a different place to watch the game on Sunday. Just whatever. I'm going to try anything possible. But then I start trying to figure out the common sense part of it. And I look at how beat up they are. And then here's the other thing I hate to say this, but I have to say it because I'm the only one that's kind of really hammering it away overall. I don't have a coach that is great in-game. I don't. Mike McDaniel's one of the worst I've seen in-game. Only Mario Cristobal is worse. And think about all the wins they have, and he sucks on game day. So if I had a great game day coach like Erik Spoelstra, then I can say, well, maybe some stuff can be overcome and all that, but I haven't seen Mike McDaniel do those kind of things. And that's the indictment on him. So because I don't think that he is the guy that is necessarily elevating things better than what they are, I don't think so. I think he's had a loaded team, and that's why he's won. And he's, they've coached up the line, and they've done a good job. They know quarterback, they know offense, but a lot of the in-game decisions have hurt them. And the way the team plays, too, their lack of discipline out there under Mike McDaniel. And so they've got to get better in those areas. And so that doesn't help me when your team is undisciplined and makes all kinds of mistakes on a consistent basis, whether it's penalties, whether it's drop balls, whether it's bad decisions. There's too much of it going on, And so that's my problem, that when I look at the reality of it, okay, do I have a great coach that his teams are always well prepared and better prepared than the other team? No, I don't have that. I don't have that. I know I have that with Spo. I know I have that with Shula. I know I have that with Larinaga. I know I have that with Riley. I don't have that with Mike McDaniel. And so it's hard for me to feel and have the same expectations I do of Spo than I do of McDaniel. Because I've watched Spo win with less. I haven't really seen McDaniel beat people with less. That's not his thing. So, that's the reason why I don't have a lot of hope for this game. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you guys rip the shit out of me. You see, you didn't have hope on the team. You didn't believe it. I hope you guys rip me for that stuff. I hope they win, and I hope they do things that they hadn't done all season long. You know what I'm saying? I would love to be wrong. This is one where I would really enjoy being wrong. But it's hard for me to have faith in something that hasn't instilled faith in me. The Panthers, I have faith in the Panthers. I have faith in Paul Maurice now. You know what I mean? I've seen Paul Maurice turn this team around. They're physical now. They don't take shit. They were soft before.
They're not soft anymore. I've watched it. That's different. He's earned my trust. Look what he did last night in Las Vegas. They've earned my trust. Look at their record. I mean, they're playing their asses off, and they're coming off a run to the Stanley Cup, which is, I can't say that about Mike McDaniel or anything about the Dolphins for decades now. So it's just one of those. It's crazy, right? The Panthers have been to the Cup twice, and the Dolphins can't even get to an AFC Championship game in that same span. Crazy shit, huh? So this is why I have to look at it this, and I hate it. I hate it. But you guys know, if there's something you're going to get on this show, brutal honesty, good or bad. Now, hey, listen, I don't win for shit, dude. You know what I mean? When I'm fighting everybody about Tua, I'm getting bashed. When I'm fighting everybody about Greer, I'm getting bashed. You know what I mean? So it happens. When I was fighting for Spo in Bumpgate, a whole bunch of you wanted to fire Spo at Bumpgate. A whole bunch of you. Bunch of you phonies won't admit it. But a whole bunch of you thought that they should fire Spo, that he wasn't the right guy at that moment. Because you didn't know much about Spo at that moment. It was only a few years of coaching. Not this guy. Not this guy. When Bumpgate happened, I said, hell no, I'm sticking with Spo. That's my guy. So, good or bad, I take shit. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to win, because you never satisfy the people out there. That's why I do my show the way I do my show. Because in the end, I don't give a shit. I know half of you are always going to be unsatisfied. So you think I'm going to run my life trying to satisfy all of you? Hell no, dude. Kiss my ass. So I'm going to give my opinion no matter what. And I'm going to stand by my opinion. And then if you like it, great. If you don't, great. Either way, it's not going to change. And you're not going to motivate me or bully me into anything one way or the other. You know what I mean? When Ndamukong Suh signs and I say, this is a terrible contract, brother, I took heat. As the years go on, I was completely right. And everybody that bashed me was completely wrong. That's just kind of the way we roll on this show. So, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you guys are laughing at me and bashing me and all that shit. You thought the Dolphins couldn't win and all that. But this is one of those weeks that I have not felt like in a long time. And I hope it's different. But, man, this would be the greatest win in Mike McDaniel's short career, because he is shorthanded. And so if he's able to beat the Buffalo Bills, that would be absolutely enormous. Money is coming in on Miami, by the way, because the Bills are only favored by 2.5. So people think that Miami is got a chance here. Over and under is 48. Buffalo is minus 155, down from 162, and Dolphins are plus 130, down from plus 138. So you've got a closer game, because they've got it at 48, down from 49.5. And now Buffalo is giving 2.5 instead of 3. So it looks like Vegas and the betting public are expecting a tighter game here. NorCal Dolphin says, I listen to this show because you tell it how it is and you see it, and you get good inside info to make educated predictions and evaluations. I hope we're all ripping you like a joint Monday and Sunday night. Because Sunday night, they'll be lining up to rip my ass if I'm wrong. The funny part is that if I'm right, then the guy that hated my prediction that ended up being right, he'll just then say, oh, well, he's just a hater. Which,
Okay, sure, dude. I'm a hater. Of course, I'm a hater. I'm the guy always sporting the colors. I'm the guy always everything back there. What media member does this? None. None, because none of them are hometown people pretty much. Almost, I don't know how many are there. Omar, who's really a hometown guy? I think Furones. There aren't many in the media that are really hometown. You know what I mean? And they don't openly, so I always love, you're a hater. Really? I'm a hater. Okay. I'm constantly buying all kinds of, I'm a hater. Okay. Yeah, no, I must hate these teams, man. Damn, I must hate these teams. Oh, man. Spo, top 3 coach of all time. McDaniel has a long way to go. Oh, yeah. McDaniel can't even sniff anywhere near Spo. He's not allowed in the same room. No. He's not allowed in the same neighborhood as Spo and Shula and Riley and Frazier and even Larinaga, who doesn't have championships. But I put him right there with all those guys. Right there. Yeah. McDaniel has nothing. He's not even allowed to shine their shoes. He's not even allowed to go get a shine box. Okay? That's not even an honor for him to go get a shine box and walk in there and shine Shula's shoes or Spo, or he doesn't even get to go there. Okay? All right. As for Mario Cristobal, he's not even on the same planet. Mike McDaniel can be in the neighborhood and, these guys are like hanging out in Coral Gables. And so Mike McDaniel's like hanging out, somewhere in Wynwood. He's kind of like, he's hip. So we'll leave him out in Wynwood. Mario Cristobal, we got his ass out in fucking Pluto. Okay? Pluto. In fact, if there's a world that's unknown and scientists have like a number on it, put Mario Cristobal's ass on that one over there. Okay? That guy. Whoo. Wow. Whoo. I have hope for McDaniel because he's an introspective guy. He's a cerebral guy. I have hope that Mike McDaniel will look in the mirror and figure shit out and, fix it. And look at himself and say, dude, I'm screwing up here. I got to Mario Cristobal. Oh, my God. He's Cuban, bro. Forget it. He's set in his ways. I have very little hope for Mario figuring it out, unfortunately. I hate that I have to say that. I hate that I have to be honest about that. Because Mario's such a good dude, man. But wow. Ugh. You talk about little hope. I have very little hope for Mario Cristobal. So he's going to have to really prove it to me that he can actually change. That he, as Michael would say, he's got to be the man in the mirror and make that change. Anyway, if Miami wasn't missing their entire team to injury, they would easily beat the dog shit out of the Bills. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about dog shit out of the Bills. They've never done that. I like it. Don't think it's accurate, but I like it. But they're so decimated that it's hard for me to imagine a win. I really do. Eric says Josh Allen against the Chiefs, 23 of 42, 233, a touchdown, and interception. Yep. Let's see. Just like you were right about Lamar beating us from the pocket. Yeah, that was absolutely terrible. I think that was about as despicable a performance by Fangio that I've ever seen in my life. They never pressured him. That was terrible. That was bad coaching on their part.
Krantz at QAM, yes. Yes. That's another one. He's a hometown guy. At least, but you know what? At least Krantz Zach will at least admit that, he's a fan. That's cool. He'll give his real opinion on it. You know what I mean? But at least Zach will admit it. So I love Zach. He's a good dude, man. Really good dude. Let's see. McDaniel's just going through the growing pains, but he has given us winning seasons and a playoff spot each year. Rosendo, I hate to tell you this, my brother. Chris Greer gave you the playoff. He gave you the talent to get in there. You're supposed to win. Anybody that's coaching this team should be in the playoffs. Put it that way. Okay? Where I give McDaniel a lot of credit is that he actually knows how to run an offense for the running game and for the quarterback. That I give him credit because he has an understanding of QB, offense, offensive line, right? But his in-game management has hurt his team from being better. And again, this is the same thing as the flow thing, and I've repeated this over. When you guys are freaking out on me in the middle of the winning streak, and I'm telling you he's going to get fired, right? And by the way, we have a video that Sean put together. Sean, did you resend me that? I need that thing. Anyway, we have to play that video because Sean did an awesome job with it. Excuse me. So, damn, what was I saying on what was the point I was trying to make now? Damn it. What was I saying now? I'm brain farted.
You were talking in-game management. I don't know where you were heading.
Yeah, so with the in-game management, that's the part that has effed up his whole thing. And so with Flo, you guys were, well, wait a minute, he's won 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6. How are you going to fire him? And I go, you're going to fire him because of the 1-6 start. There was no excuses because he played all the good teams in the front and didn't win any of those games. And they felt that he should have done a better job against them to get him into the playoffs. And you started winning games because you played the shitty teams on the back end of the schedule. And by the way, what have you done mostly this year? You have built your record on what? The bad teams. And you don't do a good job against the good teams and in big moments. And so here's the problem I have with the, what was it? Rosendo saying McDaniel's just going through growing pains. 1 or 2 years is fine. Rosendo, you can't go into years 3 and 4 and 5 into growing pains because contracts expire. You have to then pay players more. You're under a pressure that you want to try to win before you have to pay the quarterback the money. And so meanwhile, you have a first coach that screwed up the first 2 years. And now you've got another coach that he is not making progress in 2 years. And so what tells you for sure that in year 3, he will be a great in-game manager? Nothing. Because the same mistakes that were made in year 2 were made in year 1. And so that's my point. It sounds really cute to say, wow, growing pains. Bro, this is pro football. You don't have a lot of time for growing pains. Well, he just took over the program. You got to give him 4 or 5 years to turn over the talent. Not in the NFL. No. You can't wait 5 years. Then you would have turned over your roster twice at that point. And if you're already paying your quarterback, then it becomes that much harder to win. That was kind of the trick of the whole thing. Draft a quarterback, build it around him, but you had a head coach that refused to spend money in free agency and build some of the pieces that you need around him. Then you got a coach that was willing to do it. Now you got it done, but he can't win in big games. So it's really nice, and it's really, kind of just
there to say, well, it's growing pains. Let's wait. You can't wait. You can only wait a certain amount of time, and you've kind of waited the time already. Why do you think I tell you that year 3 will be very crucial for him? Because I know how all of you will respond. If the same stuff happens and the same collapse happens at the end of the season again, that would be 3 years in a row of a collapse. You guys will be screaming for his head. I know it. So this patience stuff, that shit don't exist anymore, man. There's no more time for patience with him. I told you, we've hit a fork in the road. He has to make the strong pivot now. And he has to become a better game manager. Or he has to get an OC to call the plays and he manages the game. Or he ends up getting fired in a year or two. It's either you figure it out, you get an OC, or eventually you work your way to being fired. Those are the 3 options. It's really hard what he's trying to do, by the way, to run the team and be the play caller. That's hard for veteran coaches. For him, it's even harder. It's not easy what he's doing, what he's trying to do. I will admit that, but the problem is you just don't have time. Unfortunately, the money involved, the contracts, you don't have time. You can't go through 4 or 5 seasons of him trying to figure it out and trying to figure it out. Okay, so think about this. You haven't had a front office that can build a constant playoff team. Now you have it. So you're going to have the guy that can't finish it? You can't have that every year, right? He has to figure it out. He has to figure it out. And 2024 has to be the season. Has to be. I'm telling you, I know what's coming. And so this whole thing about patience and, we won 11, you got to overlook all of that. Most coaches would have won a lot of games with this team. If you're a good coach, you got talent. Go win. Mateo, thank you as always. Thank you for the super chat. Big O, how would you contain Allen? It's the same thing as Lamar. The only difference is you've got to find a way to pressure him. If you don't pressure him, you know what I mean? That's if you're going to leave him back there and then your receivers are going to get wide open. They're open by 3 to 5 yards. You're toast. And that's what happened with Lamar. Last couple of years, you blitzed him. You rushed his ass. You didn't let him get comfortable back there. You got to take your chances with him. And you got to do the same thing with Josh Allen. You can't let him sit back there and just not pressure him. So you got to hit him. Like any quarterback, get to his ass, hit him, get him uncomfortable, get him moving around. That's what you have to do. Get him thinking and looking at the rush. If you have him back there, sitting back there, smoking a cigar, smoking a Perdomo cigar, then yeah. Lamar was back there. He was rolling his cigars. I actually saw some people from the Perdomo factory give him some leaves and binder and a filler, and he was rolling up his own cigars. He had like a 4-inch ash and everything before he'd complete every pass. Can't do that. You got to pressure his ass. Any quarterback. That's common sense. Can't allow him to sit back there and hit him. Hit him and hit him a lot. Question is, can you get to him now? Although Agba has played fantastic whenever he has played. That's Agba. Talk about a guy, the ultimate professional this season has been Emmanuel Agba. because to be on the shelf as much as he has, and then every time they call you, it reminds me of Lou Piniella. I lost a whole bunch of you young people now. But Lou Piniella would be sitting on the bench, right? And he'd be like half asleep, and they'd tap him on the shoulder. Hey, Lou, what do you want? We need a hit. And Lou would go to you, what field do you want it at? Right center. And Lou Piniella would come up and, anybody that watched Lou Piniella, you know what I'm talking about. Lou Piniella could get a hit sleeping and hit it in any, the things they can't do nowadays in baseball, like hit opposite field, drive it wherever the hell they want. That was Lou Piniella. Just hanging out, kicking. Hey, Lou, we need a hit. All right, no problem. Here we go. Where he's on third base? All right, here we go, right field. Agba's been that guy. He's been the Lou Piniella this year. I give him a lot of credit, man. It is hard to stay ready like he has. And God bless him because he's smart. Okay? I know he put the little emojis last week, but hey, man, I don't blame him. But he has stayed ready. And his numbers for the amount he has played are maybe some of the best in the NFL. Prorated. Time played and production. Oh, my God, it's sick. When he goes for contract negotiations, they're going to say, oh, yeah, you had the injury, but, man, you came back from it, and you look good, and you've been ready, and you were a pro. People are going to love Emmanuel Agba in free agency. I know he doesn't fit here, but he will sign somewhere else, and hopefully he performs at a high level on Sunday night. All right, let's do it. Let's unleash Le Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right. How you feeling, man? You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. How's things going on your end?
All good, baby. Crypto bags are growing every single day. They're getting fatter than Fat Albert. So I'm all good, baby. I'm all good. 2024 is going to be a golden year, man. So my life is good. I wish the Dolphins were as successful as my crypto bags. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It's been ugly. It's been ugly. The professionalism of Emmanuel Agba and the prorated production off the charts, just absolutely amazing. I know he put the little emojis out last week because he was surprised he was inactive. I don't blame him for that. That wasn't anything disruptive or anything. It's just nothing, and he's been great overall. He could have complained and pointed fingers and all that. He's going to have a marvelous time in free agency. He has handled adversity better than most human beings handle adversity.
Yeah, it's got to be I've talked to Emmanuel Agba a decent amount, and I will say this, it's a difficult challenge when you're balancing what's good for you personally versus what's good for the team, especially when you feel like you're being slighted. And when I say that is Emmanuel Agba has been a very good pass rusher throughout his career, multiple different schemes. But for whatever reason, it has not gelled with him and Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio does not have a great love of Emmanuel Agba playing in his scheme. And you've seen time and time again that he's elevated players over Agba. And so I would say a lot of players would have said before the deadline, I want to trade. Get me out of here. I demand a trade. Get me out of here. Send me somewhere where people like me, where I can play. I don't have to deal with any of this stuff. But I think he made a very conscious and professional decision that the team is winning. And if I do this and don't get traded, I'm going to be a huge distraction the rest of the season. and it's going to make things worse for everyone. And so I just got to deal with it. And maybe if I keep playing well in my limited snaps, maybe if I keep practicing well, then eventually Vic will figure out a role for me. And whether he wanted to or not, the opportunities come because they've run out of pass rushers. And it's almost like you're forced to play him because of the situation. And I think this is such a cool opportunity for Emmanuel because, as you mentioned, every time he's been out on the field, you've seen him get pass rush. Now, I get some of Vic and Dolphins' hesitation. Maybe he's not the best guy to drop back in coverage. Okay, fair. But the reality is the good coaches, the great coaches, use what's best for their personnel rather than fit players into a box. And if Mayo's not good at dropping as a linebacker in coverage, then don't drop him in coverage. Maybe I'm looking at it very simplistic, but just let him go after the passer. Let him do what he is good at. And so I think that you're looking at a situation where, we asked Mike McDaniel earlier this week about Agba, and he mentioned the hamstring lingering. I think that's a situation where the player believes he's healthy. The team is holding him back maybe it's for injury, maybe it's for another reason. But, Agba told me he was healthy a week ago, and so it's a situation where I think it's more of the scheme in the situation rather than, some injury holding him back. But we look at it this weekend, they're going to need him because no Jalen Phillips, no Bradley Chubb. You've got a monster and Josh Allen back there that you have to get down on the field. And I don't think they're going to all of a sudden become this heavy blitz team. I think they're going to play a lot of what they need, and they're going to need a monster game from Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, Andrew Van Ginkel, and Emmanuel Agba to be able to affect Josh Allen. And I think there's a decent chance, man. One thing that I think a lot of Dolphins fans are going to realize on Sunday is the Bills have a pretty decent offensive line. And they have an offensive line that, unlike the Dolphins, has played together every single game. It's like a rarity. They're playing their 17th game together combined. And so they have a continuity, a relationship with one another. And so you're going to have an elite game to be able to disrupt them, to be able to get pressure on Josh Allen, to get him uncomfortable, and for him to make a lot of those turnovers he makes when he's trying to be too much of Superman.
While I think it's all about bad luck, to be quite honest, what do you tell the people that keep saying, well, how come the Dolphins keep breaking down every year and they have all these injuries every year? What is it with their training staff? And a lot of people are bringing that up because this storyline has been very common for the Dolphins over the years, that they suffer a lot of injuries down the stretch. Again, Chubb was, you look at it, that had nothing to do with the trainer, to be quite honest. But, people are going to look at it. So I think it's bad luck. But what do you say?
I think that you have to overcome certain things to be able to get to the level of consistent winning. And when I say that, it's like the Dolphins have been on the teetering of a good team for the last 2 or 3 years. But there's a big jump from being a good playoff contending team to being a true championship contending team. And I think they've tried to flirt a couple times with this year, but it's hard. And I think that the Dolphins have a tendency of, when things go wrong, they snowball. And last year it was in the form of losing streaks. They went on 3-game losing streaks and 5-game losing streaks, I think was the last one, when things went wrong. This year, McDaniel's done a good job of snipping at the bud the losing streaks, but they've sort of funneled into ugly losses, right? Like when things start to slow down.
And against the better team.
It's like once things start to go bad in a particular game against a good team, then it starts to get out of hand. The Bills game. You look at, to a lesser extent, the Eagles and Chiefs game, and then this past game against Baltimore. The best 4 teams you played this season, all 4 of them at some point you felt the rope slip away, and then everything went for naught. And so they've got to reach those moments and realize, hey, we can do it. And this week is so interesting because I know Dolphins fans are tired of hearing about how good Josh Allen and the Bills have been against the Dolphins. Like, they're tired of hearing of it, and I get it. But it's the truth. And this presents another opportunity of, this is a team that's coming out and going to look at you the field and smirk at you and say, you know what's going to happen. We've seen this movie before. You know, you guys are going to come out, maybe score a touchdown in the opening drive. We're going to punch back, and then you're going to realize, oh, crap, this is happening again, and then we're going to win the game. And at some point, the Dolphins got to say, no, that we're going to rewrite our story. This is not how it's always going to end. And whether it happens Sunday or not, we'll see. But right now, I think the Bills are favorites in this game as road favorites because of their dominance and the psychological factor of that, and the trust of the Bills in big games versus the Dolphins' trust in big games. Yes, the injuries play a factor, but I think even if Chubb wasn't out, even if Howard wasn't out, I still think the Bills would be favorites because we have seen the Bills consistently beat the Dolphins in these games, and we've seen the Bills consistently win, at least in the regular season, these games that matter, and we haven't seen the Dolphins do that yet. And so this is their chance, but I don't think the Dolphins can be mad that people right now are going to wait and see them do it because of how much we've seen the snowball effect.
Well, okay, here's my issue. And I can't get away from it, unfortunately. So I'm looking at an injury-depleted team. I'm watching Tyreek in a boot, a Chan in a boot, and Mostert can't practice.
Yep.
So your three most explosive players are not even close to 100%. Your other explosive player will not play in Waddle. And I'm also and Mike McDaniel, unfortunately, has not had any Spo-like moments.
Yep.
Where his team is undermanned and all that, and he overcomes things like that's not what they do, unfortunately, under him. So how do I expect this to be a win? In fact, I think it's actually almost an impossible task. Of course, anyone can win on any given Sunday.
Yep.
But injured as they are, and as injured as your best players are, that's a really tough task and a tall task to ask Mike McDaniel and this team to actually win this game.
Here's what I would say to that. Yes, the injuries are going to be tough to overcome, but I am always of the belief, and trust me, it's definitely heavily shifted to the Dolphins side of this. The Bills don't have many, if any, significant injuries to worry about. Matt Milano's out, but he's been out for a while. The rest of those guys are pretty much good to go. I would say that I don't like using the injuries as a bridge, as a reason, because of the season of everyone's dealing with them. I will say this. This is what I view the game as. People ask me, what's the matchup that's going to define it? I say this is the game why you hire Vic Fangio. You paid him to be the highest paid defensive coordinator in football. You paid him to change things in your defensive scheme. This has to be the Vic Fangio game. It doesn't matter what you've done the first 16 games of the season. You're a borderline top 10 unit who struggled against great teams. This is the Vic Fangio game. This is where you justify the money, the commitment, the why you hire Vic Fangio. When you're down a little bit in personnel against a team that has your number, what scheme, what game plan do you have to offset it? You need a Vic Fangio masterpiece this weekend where he does something that confuses Josh Allen, that he has not seen before, that gets his defense and whoever they have on the field in a position where they can have success and keep Josh Allen to, let's say, 24 points. I think that's enough. If you can say, hey, if you can guarantee me today you're going to hold Josh Allen to 24 points, the Josh Allen and the Bills, I would take it and say, I think the Dolphins offense can score 25. But if they can't, I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be able to win this a 30, 40-point shootout game. They need to get to the mid-20s, high 20s. I can see them doing it. But you're going to need a Vic Fangio special to come up, and we shall see.
How do you get a Vic Fangio special when Your safety with the two knees really isn't himself yet.
Yep.
X is out.
Yep.
Your second round pick can't find a way on the field, and you really, but you can tell me we're going to go with Eli Apple. Don't tell me you trust Eli Apple. Your two pass rushers are out for the year. While Wilkins has had a good season, he doesn't really produce against the big games. In the big games, he doesn't get sacks, actually.
Yeah.
He gets all his sacks against bad teams. Sealer, actually, like last week, he steps up, actually. So he's got a lot of things that are lacking on this team right now. Kohu has not had a good year. Kohu, for me personally, I think Kohu has to figure out he's so physical. He has to learn not to be as physical while keeping his physicality. But in coverage, he has to learn not to be so damn handsy, one way or another. But I just look at a lot of the things that are going on with that defense, and I don't know if Fangio has what. I mean, dude, they looked lost last week.
They did. They did. Miscommunication was a big issue.
Wide open.
Yep.
Wide open. I mean,
I talked to a couple guys in the locker room, and their consensus was everybody's eyes were the issue. Everybody's eyes got full, and that's a troublesome issue to have in Week 17. I think the Baltimore Ravens did a good job of giving them their own medicine, giving them a lot of eye candy, a lot of motion, a lot of people crossing the field. What has been a big struggle for this Dolphins defense playing so much zone has been passing off routes in zone coverage, where a guy's crossing your zone into another zone. Whose responsibility is it? And a lot of those plays were like a hesitation, like maybe it's Duke Riley or Deshaun Elliott or Eli Apple making a hesitation of, wait, is that my guy? Is that your guy? Whose zone is this? And they're doing this in play. And all you need is that split second of your eyes get distracted. You hesitate, you miscommunicate, and guys are gone. That the help that comes with that is maybe Jerome Baker comes back. If he is able to come back, maybe he helps the communication portion.
But we're also asking Jerome Baker to come
on his first game back from the injury. Yes, I understand. And that's why I think more than anything, and hopefully another week of Javon Holland coming off those knees, your hope is that your guys who lead the defense, your signal callers, your green dot, which is what Baker is and Duke Riley's been, Javon Holland's been the secondary communicator in that respect. The guys who lead you in the vocal element, the communication element, those guys can lift up and take whatever's coming out. Like I think we in the media and even fans kind of obsess about the will Jalen Ramsey shadow Stephon Diggs? And it's a question again this week, right? Like, will he shadow him? Will he out? I think that I just want to see them have a plan of something different. Of course, it's the easy thing to say shadow, and I would love to see it. But maybe for whatever reason, Vic does not think that's the best plan. He's getting paid millions of dollars. If he has a better plan, then let's see it. I am fine with that. I just do not want to see the old, this is what we do. We're going to line up our three guys. They're going to stay on their side 100% of the time, and we're going to play what we do and see if it works. Baltimore just exposed the issues with that. You have no pass rush going on without Chubb and Jalen Phillips. It is time to try something different. I get it. You cannot rewrite your whole defense in 1 week, but he's hinted sometimes at a new special package this offseason that he has. This will be the time to show whatever special package you got. This would be the time to show whatever you've been cooking in your sabbatical. This is the time. I don't know what it is. I'm not a defense coordinator. I do not get paid millions of dollars to run the Dolphins defense. But if there is ever a time to figure out the plan or put out the plan to hide these warts, it is now.
Well, you better. Does he trust them to run the plan? That's the problem too. He doesn't trust you.
Yeah.
Hey, look at Cam Smith.
Yeah.
He clearly doesn't trust Cam Smith at all, and that's why Cam Smith can't find the light of day. Because he must be lost absolutely, and his head must be spinning.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. I think that trust is a big part of it. This defense is complex, and the guys have talked about it a lot about how complex the defense is. But at some point, you got to feel it click. And it did feel like midseason that it clicked. But for whatever reason, in Baltimore, whatever clicked went out, went out the door. Whatever they thought they figured out, they forgot or it changed or something. And so I think it's on Vic Fangio to figure it out. And maybe it's the other way. Like, I think I'm talking about creating something new to confuse the Bills. But maybe it's your point. Maybe it's the fact that everybody is so confused and you just got to simplify. Maybe you got to go the other way. Maybe you got to say, hey, your job is to rush the passer. Your job is to sit here in this zone and make it real simple. And at worst, everybody's going to be where they're supposed to be. Everybody's going to know the right assignment. It may not maximize your ability to get takeaways and do all this, but you're going to know guys are at the right spot if you simplify. I think something's got to change between what they're calling scheme-wise over the next week to whatever the players are running, because we just saw Baltimore destroy them, and I'm not sure that running the same plan is going to work any better.
You expect them to shadow Diggs with Ramsey?
I think they will in some capacity. That's my kind of educated guess, not any reporting for certain, but I do think you'll see him move around with Diggs,
like
maybe in key situations,
like he did in that one game.
In that Jets game. He didn't do 100% shadowing, but like definitely on third downs, definitely on key situations, definitely on gotta have it moments.
It was like 15 plays or something.
Yes.
It wasn't a ton.
Yes, it wasn't like every single play, because the reality of it is you don't want Ramsey running across the field every single play. But there's going to be plays that matter. There's going to be the ones where you see the Bills trying to line up Diggs on Eli Apple or Kader Kohou. Those are the ones you want Ramsey on. The ones they're trying to find your other guys, that's the ones.
In Vic's brutal honesty to you guys, because I watch all the press conferences, he told you guys that you got to keep them guessing. You got to keep them off balance. So he basically told you, no, we're not going to do the same thing all the time. We're going to change things up constantly. He's going to, and that's kind of what they do. That's kind of his defense, actually, in a way. Yeah. But it's just one of those things where you've had all these injuries and you don't have a lot of continuity, and it just kind of breaks up the continuity. That's why what's happened on the offensive line has been a marvel, because they've had so many injuries. So you've had no continuity, but to still rush the ball the way you've been able to run it and protect Tua. And Tua's done a marvelous job of complementing the line, a lot like Marino did back in the day. That, the line was, the line was good, but it was Marino getting rid of the ball in 2 seconds that helped you out and why you had less sacks. You know what I mean? Yeah, we know Richmond Webb and Keith Sims are great, but it was also that Marino, the radar made a decision really quick, those kind of things. So to me, that's the problem with Vic, that it's hard for him when he doesn't have that kind of continuity.
Right. Got you.
Yeah. All right. What's the prediction? I don't have them winning, bro, by the way. It's the first time I'm picking against them this year. I haven't picked against the Dolphins.
I think they're going to come out with a lot of fight, but right now I think there's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of issues on the defensive side of the ball that I'm worried about. I think they lose a close game.
Yeah, me too. I think they lose, unfortunately, because I just think they have way too much to overcome. And I have not seen this coach be that guy that overcomes all that kind of adversity. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? He's just not that guy yet. Hopefully he'll get it. What do you got going on in the NFL Network so folks can check it out?
Yeah, I'll be on the Insiders today from 12 to 1. Talk a little ball, Dolphins, Bills. That's the game I'm at this weekend, Sunday. So you'll see me there Sunday for NFL Game Day morning from 9 to 1 on NFL Network. And I'll also be on Total Access tonight from 7 to 8. So you'll get a full day of me today and on Sunday talking Dolphins, Bills for sure.
Check you out definitely today on the platform. As always, Cam, appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and let's hope we enjoy Sunday night.
We'll see.
You got it, baby. Thank you. KSDT CPAs, they can help your personal life, your business life. And those of you, hey, we just started the year. This is a great time to reach out to KSDT CPA for your business
to start getting that guidance all the way throughout the year and getting ready for the taxes and payroll and accounting and everything else that you've got to do and planning ahead. This is going to be a very interesting year as it's an election year. So things are going to happen in the economy, and you want to know how to take advantage of it. The people at KSDT can tell you, can help you out because they're looking. They plan ahead for a lot of businesses. They can help yours. Please give them a ring, 305-670-3370. And if you're looking for work, they've got offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, and they opened up an office in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you live in any of these areas and you're looking for work, reach out to the great people at KSDT CPAs. 1 hour down. Hour number 2 is next, and we start it with Manny Navaro. The Canes can't find a damn QB. Hour 2 is next.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navaro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navaro.
Alrighty, there he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. You feeling good?
Yeah, brother. How are you?
Good. You don't even have to cover a bad football game this weekend.
No, I don't. Yep.
Speaking of bad, Will Howard goes to Ohio State. Ukulele goes to FSU. The Malachi Crunch is visiting Boise State. KJ Jefferson has gone to UCF. So what, you quarterbacking next year?
I may get some reps next year. Oh, I don't know if you knew this. I can throw about a good 15-yard out. I think that might get me a spot on the roster. No,
you were telling us, oh, there's a whole bunch of quarterbacks out there. There's no hurry. It's going to happen. Brother, that shit's drying out, man. What's left?
Here's what I would tell you. I think again, there's another transfer window in April, right? And
Yes.
guys who lose the competition for the starting job are going to be looking for a new job, right? Like they don't want to sit on the bench. Guys, I think they're good enough. So I think Miami's going to have another chance of it in April. But right now, you're right. It has dried up. A lot of the best, most experienced options are not there. And I think part of it, from what my understanding is that Miami really thought they were going to get Cam Ward. And Cam Ward still hasn't necessarily signed with an agent, which allows him, I think, up until January 15th to change his mind if he wants to change his mind and try to get back in with Miami. But, I think for a long time there, Miami was really, really confident they were going to get Cam Ward, who was the best option available among the guys that still hadn't committed anywhere. And at this point, they've looked into other guys. One name that recently popped up was this former quarterback at Albany, Reese Poffenbarger, is a name that was put out there. I think he's a kind of guy who probably just comes in to compete. Huh?
It's a Hoffenberger. Okay, go ahead.
Poffenbarger, yeah. I think he's the kind of guy who probably is just brought in to help compete and sort of put their name in the hat, right, to compete for the job, not necessarily better than Jakari Brown or Emory Williams. So I think right now it's sort of just a wait and see and who else becomes available. Look, Miami's done their homework. They've looked into all the different guys. They try to see who actually fits in well with the scheme and what they're asking them to do. And there's still guys that are out there that you say, okay, maybe they kick the tires on this guy. I personally think they were just waiting on Cam Ward to say yes. And again, I told you this a long time ago. Tua's brother, Talia Tagovailoa, if he's able to get a waiver, right, which at this point is probably unlikely because I told you he played 5 games as a true freshman, which negates the red shirt. But if he somehow were to, by a miracle of God, get the waiver from the NCAA, then he might be the guy they turn to. But just a circumstance, and look, I don't think this Miami team, as constructed, is good enough to win a national championship next year. So again, you're still building to 25. It's not like you're one quarterback away from.
They don't have the head coach to win anything.
Right.
Period. End of story. Until Mario Cristobal actually shows me he can coach.
Right.
I don't care how many recruits he has, dude.
Yeah.
You're not winning a national championship just because you roll out talent. That will never happen, my brother. If you don't make good in-game decisions on a consistent basis, Mike McDaniel, Mario Cristobal, you're not winning, okay? That's just part of the game. So this is where I've already told you this before. It's nice to sign 4 and 5 stars. Until I see Mario become a better in-game coach, that's really when I'm going to start feeling good about the team, because to me, it does, it's like watching Jimmy Johnson just allow Vinny Testaverde to keep throwing an interception after an interception after another interception. And after you've thrown 5 in the Sugar Bowl, it doesn't convince you that he's going to throw 4 more in the Fiesta Bowl. Yes, I haven't recovered from that. No, and I won't recover from that. And so stupidity cannot be masked. And so shit that Mario Cristobal does on the sidelines, I don't care who you recruit. You ain't winning jack with Mario Cristobal as this kind of coach. And to me, that's the bigger problem. Yeah, you got to get a quarterback, but your coach better learn how to coach on game day.
Yeah, and again, I can't argue any of those points. Oh, I mean, he's look, you look at his track record of games that he's lost, whether it was at here with Miami or even at Oregon, right? There were head scratchers where you're like,
bro,
his
last
team
year
is,
he got dogged by Utah twice. Give me a break.
Yeah.
You can't lose to FSU or Clemson twice in a year here. You can't be the coach here if that's what's going to happen. Sorry. And I know Utah's pretty good, but if you're pretty good and you're supposed to be great, you can't be losing to the top tier teams twice in your conference like that.
I agree. And he wasn't brought in here for that. That's not the vision that all these people, put money down for it and bringing him in. They wanted him to recruit well and to win games. It's got to be both. It's not just one of the two. So you're right. But I guess my overall point, just in regards to the quarterback, is at some point or another, he's going to have to start to develop and win with guys that he recruits to the program at that position, right? Tyler Van Dyke was not his. Jakari Brown was kind of inherited from the previous staff because he was already committed to the program. And Emory Williams is the one guy that somebody on his staff went out and got. So let's see how he develops that position, because again, when Miami won championships, they had quarterbacks that were good, right? Yeah. They had guys that could get the job done, that were caretakers of the football and so forth. So let's see what he does with that position going forward. I think the good news is, if we want to take something good from the last 24 to 48 hours, it looks like their defensive coordinator, who I was most concerned about losing, is probably going to stay put here.
Yeah, they gave him more money. Keep him happy for now until somebody else gives him money. Okay. Cardale Jones. I tagged you on this.
You did.
Former quarterback of Ohio State tweets out, "Man, I feel bad for recruits going to Miami U for NIL. Bad staff, no stability within program, and one of the worst college home game atmospheres. Chasing the money isn't always the answer, but good luck."
Well, listen, that's a Ohio State alum, right? One that won them their last national championship in 2014 or whatever. And he's beating his chest because Ohio State has won more recently than Miami has, and they're angry because they've lost a lot of recruits to Miami this cycle. That players that they think were just paid, basically ditched Ohio State for more money. The reality is, look, I just came back from the Under Armour All-American game. Grace Rayner and I did a huge story for The Athletic regarding NIL and what kids were saying about it. Money is usually pretty equal in this thing. There's not that much of a disparity, and I think a lot of the best players, the top 100 high school recruits every single year, are getting offered pretty much. If you're being recruited by a school, that school's in the ballpark of whatever it is that they're offering. If they're picking Miami, it's for more reasons than just money. And that's what my retort to Cardale Jones would be. I think some of it has to do with opportunity to get on the field faster. I think some of it has to do with what they, maybe just being in a warm weather place versus being in cold ass Columbus, Ohio. By the way, Ohio State hasn't been exactly hot lately. I mean, they've lost 3 years in a row now to Michigan. So they're kind of on the decline, and there's a lot of rumors about whether or not their coach Ryan Day is going to be there long term. So I can see why Ohio State lost some recruits to Miami. Is he wrong in trying to defend his school? No, because Miami guys do that all the time too. They get on Twitter and they talk shit about other programs. So it's the way that it goes.
Yeah, but I just thought it was interesting. All right, anything else we should know on the recruiting front, my brother?
Well, I know there's a rumor out there that Miami is out of visits for transfers and all that. I don't think they're necessarily out. I just think they're kind of limited on the number of players they can bring in. Right now, I got their scholarship count at 85 players. So they're going to have to run off a couple of guys if they're going to bring in more transfers. I think the highest priority for me when I look at this team on paper is safety. I think they need to bring in one more experienced guy in the secondary, whether it's corner or safety, but preferably safety. And then we'll see where they go from there. Quarterback, honestly, I'm willing to wait till April to see who else jumps in the market. Will there be a good arm?
But, dude, you're hoping somebody good jumps in.
Right.
Or the way it sounds, you might be recruiting a backup that might be highly touted but really hasn't played a lot either. And so you're still taking a gamble because you still don't know, and you're going off of potential still at that point, which is kind of a scary option. You'd like to get a guy that you already saw play and have success and then say, okay, this King kid can play, or Cam in this case, or Will, or whatever. You saw him play and you feel better about it. I almost feel like in that next wave you're talking about, there might be a little bit of riskiness to it. You know what I'm saying?
There's a risk in it, but hey, you know what? That's why you pay these coaches the big bucks. They're supposed to develop guys too, right? You've had Jakari Brown and Emory Williams in the system for a year. They'll go into spring football. They'll get all the reps because Tyler Van Dyke isn't around anymore. So they'll get all the work and do your job. Develop guys. Don't just recruit them, develop them.
Yeah. All right. I'll be programmed just like the receiver for the Canes. We improved, and we will improve again next year, okay? I mean, really, seriously, he sounded like somebody got like
Xavier, yeah.
Restrepo, he sounded like he got hypnotized right before he answered that question. That sounded like
it is.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's the way Mario likes him. He likes him hypnotized.
No, I know, but to try to brag about improvements this year from last year, brother. I get the win column stuff, but the reality was I didn't see that much. The talent was improved. I didn't really see the improvement matching the talent.
I'm with you.
It was rough. All right, what else you got going on in the Athletics so Canes fans can check you out?
Yeah, I would say just, we've put up a lot of stories regarding recruiting and the national championship. Bruce Feldman and our whole national staff going out there to cover that game next Monday in Houston. There's been a ton of interesting reads. Like I said, I came back from the Under Armour All-American game and came out with a really interesting piece on recruiting. We called it Recruiting Confidential, where we allowed these guys to talk freely without their names attached. So it's a really good read. A lot of getting a lot of love from people nationally for that piece that I did with Grace Rayner. So check it out.
Check it out. Great piece. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic weekend. Follow him on Twitter and Manny_Navaro and subscribe to The Athletic. Talk to you on Tuesday, my friend. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navaro, Caneswear. Use our code BIG-O10. You will get 10% off at Caneswear, online or in person. Doesn't matter. Use our code BIG-O10. They got practically anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. They got a lot of cool. This Dolphins hat was bought there. A lot of my Dolphins hats are bought there. A lot of my Marlins. I was wearing this. Oh, here it is. This is my favorite Marlins hat that I bought there. It's actually a really cool Marlins hat. Because I'm a hater, of course. Really cool Heat hat. See? You can get all kinds of stuff over at Caneswear, man. So Panthers gear, Panthers, best team in town. You want to get some Panthers gear. Inter Miami, they got messy jerseys, messy T-shirts, but it's not a mess there, okay? It's all organized, all right? Unlike Vic Fangio's defense against the Ravens, unorganized. You know what I'm saying? Caneswear, 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Check it out, Caneswear.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at Caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right. Don't forget, folks, to please smash the hell out of the like button. We thank Manny Navaro. We thank Cameron Wolf. We like finding an MVP of the night. Last night, the Florida Panthers put on a performance that was awesome against the Golden Knights. I love how they've beaten the Lightning and the Golden Knights lately. That's actually really, really cool. I think they've won like 6 in a row or something like that. Anyway, Panthers defeated the Golden Knights 4-1. And I got to talk about our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
Usually, we always talk about players, right? But I'm going to go with a coach this time around, and I'm going to go with Paul Maurice as my Cutter's Edge Pro MVP. And it reminds me a lot of William Quigley, right? William's got like a ton of great employees, right? And so you can meet, whether it's his partner, Mike, and it goes down from Gilbert, all kinds of people, great people that work there at Cutter's Edge Pro. He's got like 70 trucks. Maybe over 70 trucks. I mean, the properties he has there in Davie, it's enormous, right? And Cutter's Edge Pro services Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. But you can't win without a great leader. And there's a reason why they dominate. There's a reason why when they go to your home, they go to their HOA complex or business, they take it to another level.
Your property value goes up because that's what landscaping does. And again, the quality is top notch. Paul Maurice has been that same quality. Since he took over, he completely tore the character of this team down because it was soft. And he started to toughen this team up. And he got them to the Stanley Cup. And you watch them, they've started this, they're 24-17-2. Okay, they're one of the best teams in the league. They've continued to play absolutely outstanding hockey. And I got to give Paul Maurice a lot of credit because he's been able to tweak the character of this team so they can play the kind of hockey that's going to get them deep into the playoffs and get an opportunity to win a Stanley Cup. And watching them go on the road and take care of the Golden Knights last night, like they have several games this year with other teams, you see a different team with Paul Maurice the last couple of years. And as time goes on, I think it just gets better and better because he's going to have a team that's more to his liking and more to the style you need in order to win the Stanley Cup. William Quigley is one. Well, I got to give it to Paul Maurice, dude. He is definitely our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right. Appreciate all of you out there as always. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Love talking about Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics. Panthers defeated the Golden Knights, like I just said, 4-1. Reinhart, Kachuk, and Verhaeghe each with a goal and assist. Bob had 26 saves. Montour had 2 assists last night. They've got Colorado on Saturday at 4 p.m. I like that, man. Tonight, the Heat taking on the Suns, 9 o'clock. The Heat are 20-14. The Suns, with all that talent, 18-16. Interesting. Well, that's because you have Erik Spoelstra, best coach on the freaking planet, the best basketball coach on Mother Earth, coaches your team, coaches this team. Erik Spoelstra. That's why this team is awesome. Suns favored by 4, over and unders 229.5. Saturday, 2:15, Miami will take on Wake Forest. They're coming off that win against Clemson. Saturday at 4 p.m., number 17, FAU will look to continue their role. They will take on Charlotte at 4 p.m. Saturday at 4 p.m., the University of Tampa will visit the NSU Sharks. And Saturday, 4:30, we've got football, Steelers and Ravens. Not a sexy game. Because I know we want the Steelers to win and put the Bills in a more uncomfortable position, all that crap. But the Ravens are resting everybody, so it's not really a fun game. Saturday at 8:18, Texans and Colts, both teams at 9 and 7. I have to say that both coaches for the Texans and the Colts have done a better job than Mike McDaniel has this season with the Miami Dolphins. Sunday at 8:20, the aforementioned Mike McDaniel will host the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills are favored by 2.5. The over and under is 48 for that one. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Call Alan Blanco if your company, your club, your business, your whatever it is, you need custom printing and embroidery. Call 3A Graphics. They do exceptional work. 786-618-1443. All right. Really happy for Tua Tagovailoa. And why? Because he's going to complete the season. And it takes a lot to look into the mirror and say, I'm doing this wrong. Whatever it is in your life, right? Oh, man, I'm eating too much. Oh, I got to do better at work. I got to
do better in life with my wife, my husband, my kids, my whatever, work on relationships, whatever it is, right? We're far from perfect human beings. And so we're all a work in progress, aren't we? Really, let's be honest. We're all a work in progress. And it takes a lot to look in the mirror and say, I got to change this. Sometimes it scares the shit out of us and kind of forces us to do it, right? Health scare, whatever it is. He had his own type of health scare. And to his credit, he has played intelligent football. And he crushed all those stupid theories out there. Oh, he's injury prone. He can't stay healthy, yada, yada, yada. We tried to explain to you all. We explained to you, hey, look, here's a stopwatch. You see, he's holding on to the ball too long. You can't do that in this league. You can't hold it for 3.85 seconds. You can't hold it for 4:10 and for 4.6 and 5.1 seconds. You can't do that. You will die in this league. Okay? And so he suffered many serious injuries. And you're going to get hit anyways. Patrick Queen hit the shit out of him in that Baltimore game, right? It's going to happen, dude. But you can't take extra hits like he was taking. And he was taking brutal ones that were costing him games, costing his team wins. The man in the mirror says, I got to change my ways. And because of that, he's playing a complete season. Congratulations to Tua Tagovailoa for having the discipline to play the right way, the discipline to say, I'm living for the next play. Not, I got to do anything to keep this play alive. Because trying to do anything to keep this play alive will put an end to your season. Could put an end to your career. And he got it. He understood it. And then the best part about it is that he then continues to do it even though a bunch of you idiots are laughing at him. Oh, jiu-jitsu. Oh, whatever. Yeah, sure. Wrong again. You were wrong that he was injury prone. You were wrong that you said he couldn't ever play again. You were wrong that you said he should retire. And you were laughing at him for taking jiu-jitsu and building up his body. Oh, that's not going to help. Well, yes, it is. It's going to help you. It's going to help you when somebody lands on your shoulder like it did this past week. It's going to help when Patrick Queen hits your ass. It's going to help. But it's also going to help that you got rid of the football. That when the play is dead, you're spiking it. When the play is dead, you're throwing it away. When the play, you're about to get tackled, you slide. Okay? Congratulations to Tua Tagovailoa for being the ultimate professional. Through all the adversity, all the ridicule, it's pretty cool. And I'm glad that he proved to people that it's, I hate to put it this way, but it was stupidity that was getting him injured, not that he was injury prone. Any quarterback, you want to hold it for 4 or 5 seconds, injuries will come. And I don't care how big you are. You might be able to take more hits than the other guy, but eventually injuries will come. Ryan Tannehill, tough ass mother effer. Tough. Ryan Tannehill is one of the toughest quarterbacks I have ever seen in my life. Dumb, too, because he kept holding on to the ball, couldn't see a pass rush, and kept taking brutal hit after brutal hit. He wasn't a good quarterback, but boy, you all used to talk about, man, but you can depend on him. He lines up. And then what happened? He doesn't line up nearly as much after that first injury, right? After that knee injury, he's had more injuries throughout his career. So sure, he was more durable than a Tua. He's going to be more durable than a Drew Brees. Those are smaller quarterbacks. So they can take more hits. Doesn't mean they're not going to break down. So kudos to Tua for understanding what he had to do to stay on the field and help his team. Because really, in the end, the only thing that's different really in the end this season from last season is that Tua played the whole season. That's why you won more games. Tyreek and Waddle didn't score a touchdown without Tua on the field. They won what? One game without Tua? That's why. If Tua's playing the entire season, you would have won about the same amount of games again. And interesting, you have more talent this year than you had last year. And you were second year in the system and all that. You had all those advantages, yet really the difference was that Tua stayed healthy. It reminds me of Mario Cristobal. This team was more talented, but it didn't really perform because of the coaching staff to its potential. So for me, it was a disappointing season. Just like this year for the Miami Dolphins. If you don't win a playoff, it's probably a disappointing season, unfortunately. If you can't win one playoff game, disappointing season. You've done the same thing you've done for 25 years. You show up in the playoffs, but you can't win. So, regular season don't mean shit. Let's start winning in the playoffs. That's where we got to start winning. So great job by Tua, man. Great job by Tua. Chad says, did anyone watch Jersey Jerry sink that hole in one? Jersey Jerry legendary performance. I don't even know. Who the hell is Jersey Jerry? Is that some kind of wrestler or something there, Sean? Who the hell? What is Chad talking about? Jersey Jerry. Big O heard the fat lady sing last night. Yeah, unfortunately. Jamie says there's some crazy playoff scenarios. If we win and the Steelers don't, we will get the Bills again. If we tie the Bills, we win the division. Buffalo go. Yeah. You know what, Jamie? I don't really give a shit about any of those. I don't care about any of that. I just care about the game on Sunday night and then tell me where they've got to go or they stay home. I have no idea. I don't really care. I'll worry about that after. To me, that's all a waste of time. Let's see. Everyone laughed at Tua about the jiu-jitsu, but seemed like it worked. He recognized a problem and tried to be better at it. He has definitely taken a more graceful. He has taken hits more gracefully this year. Have to give him credit, of course. You do everything that you can. Jersey, the Jersey guys from Barstool. Oh, okay. All right. I am prepared myself to accept that the Dolphin season is over, says Mandog. Too much against them. There is a ton against them, bro. Chip Brown says Buffalo, being the dirtiest team in the league, will try to tackle Tyreek low and try to get Tua out of the game by any means necessary. Well, Milano's not there. That's really their dirty player. He's a really good player. Really excellent linebacker, but he is dirty. I don't know if I would call anybody else dirty on the Bills. I just, we don't like the Bills, but I don't know if I would go dirty for the other guys. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And let's go to, we got Venmo here. Shane Pupo. Thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. Big O. Tua really needs to perform well on the big stage at this level and prove himself. Can you recall a primetime game that Tua shined in? We won that Black Friday game, but he still played poorly. A lot of pressure on Sunday. So last year against Baltimore wasn't important, or the year before against Baltimore wasn't important. And this year, did he lose the Kansas City game, or did Tyreek lose the Kansas City game? Did Tua not make the throw that you needed? Because both quarterbacks only threw for 190 yards.
There weren't a lot of plays in that game. I'm trying to remember that. Like, I love how Tua's blamed for Kansas City when he made the plays. And by the way, against Buffalo last year, just wondering, did Trent Sherfield and Tua not drop touchdowns? Tyreek drop touchdowns? And did Braylon Sanders not stop on a beautiful thrown ball that would have been a touchdown? And did the coach not stop running the ball against Buffalo? And did the coach, wasn't he not ready on third down thinking it was fourth down? I'm sorry. Why is Tua getting blamed for that? You know, you have an agenda, that's fine, but at least be objective. That way your agenda is not exposed. You know, Shane? Thank you, but, you know. So it's a really interesting dynamic. You know, what happens this past week against the Ravens? What happens if Tyreek catches a touchdown? What happens if Claypool catches a touchdown? What happens if your coach doesn't do something incredibly stupid and doesn't hurry up before the 2-minute warning where you forced an interception there off your quarterback? So then all of a sudden, his game wouldn't look so bad, right? Because you would have added 2 touchdowns, you would have taken away an interception. So player incompetence and coach incompetence hurt your quarterback. You know, is it Tua's fault that the defense, disappeared last week? The secondary left every wide receiver open by 3 to 5 yards, making it the easiest game to pass against I've ever seen in my life. Where's that Tua's fault? It's just, to me, it's amazing, the double standard that's out there. It's always got to be Tua's fault. Yeah, no, and it was all Marino's fault, too. Oh. No hot seat will start for McDaniel now, Howie. As I've said over and over again, never said to fire him, never said he was going to be fired. I said over and over again, we have hit a fork in the road. And if Mike McDaniel does the same shit he's done the first 2 years, in his third year, by the end of the third year, Howie, many of you will be screaming for his head. So that's why I'm saying 24 is very important for Mike McDaniel. For the 80th time already, for you emotional idiots out there. Oh, he wants him fired. Never said that. I said it's going to happen if it's the same stuff next year by the end of the season. The Howie Dewitts of the world and others, Rosendo and others, because, you know, Rosendo's like, no, I'm behind him and all that. And I love that. A year from now, same stuff happens. Rosendo and many of you will be screaming for his head. I know what's coming. And that's why I wanted to get ahead of it and mention it, because I know what's coming. And if nobody's told him, somebody better tell him. Okay? Somebody better tell him that the people in the front office aren't going to tolerate another year like this. Dolphin fans aren't going to tolerate another year like this because the team has talent. And he's not getting them over the hump. And so if you don't do it in 3 years, what makes you think years 4, 5, or 6 are going to be the magical years? And how many players have you lost? How many more players do you have to sign? How much cap space have you lost in the process? Remember what I told you. You have 2 years left until Tua's big salary kicks in. Okay? Next year, he'll play on his 5th year. In his 6th year, it'll be his first year of his contract. They will rig that year and push the money back. You have 2 years left. 2 years left of flexibility. You must figure it out and try to win a Super Bowl, because in year 7 and 8 will be you can do it. You can win a Super Bowl. You can win many Super Bowls, but it'll be a little harder because the cap space will be tighter. Okay? That's the reality. Cody Conlon says, this is why I come and watch the Big O Show. It's all about the reality and the truth of the situation. Thank you, sir. All this extreme drama caused by our inexcusable loss to Tennessee, sadly. Well, Brett, that and the fact that you got your asses walloped against Baltimore. It's a combination. You know, you lose the shitty game that you're not supposed to lose, ruins your division chances. Now your backs are against the wall, and then you go thoroughly to get embarrassed by, you know, a playoff team. That's just terrible. So that's the problem with that. Not sure Don Shula could win this Sunday with what's left on our roster. I disagree with that, but that's all right. I think Don Shula he got to the Super Bowl with Woodstock. You know what I mean? I don't, people like Don Shula and Erik Spoelstra and Pat Riley with Rex Chapman against Michael Jordan. I'm sorry, dude. I don't put McDaniel in their class. These people can do those kind of things because I watched it. I watched Shula win with Doug Peterson. I watched Shula win with Scott Mitchell. I've watched him win games with different people, with backups. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with you on that one. You know, we've had coaches in town that do things that you don't expect, and Shula and Spo and Riley are those kind of dudes. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I know they're beat up, and it's really hard to win, but it's harder because we have a coach that's never done those kind of things. And so until he starts doing it, I can't treat him like Spo or Shula. Big O, it'll be a shame if Miami can't end the season with a Bills victory. Still a great season to be salvaged and win the number 2 seed. It would be a nice win. Again, it would be a great win against Buffalo, but to get the 2 seed would be awesome. And somehow, if you could get a playoff win, if you get a playoff win, I'm good with the season. I'm good with it. Let's see. Harbaugh took Colin Kaepernick to the Super Bowl. You know what, Todd? I love being consistent as a mother effer, bro. Harbaugh had the best front office in the league. They had 2 guys in Schneider who left to Seattle and then obviously won another Super Bowl, built up a team that should have won a second Super Bowl if it wasn't for Pete Carroll's stupid-ass call. And then the other guy, and I'm forgetting his name, went to Washington, had alcohol issues, a very, very good GM, very good talent evaluator. That Niners team was one of the most loaded teams in the last 25 years in football. Okay. Harbaugh did a nice job of coaching that team, but that front office, you better win with that roster. You better win with that roster. You need to go back and look at the people that were on that football team. Offense, defense. Oh my God, that defense was sick. It's kind of what I'm telling you with McDaniel. It's kind of what I told you with Flo. Oh wait, but they're in a win streak and they could win 9 games. How are they going to fight? Well, that's because the first half of the season they lost against all the good teams. And then I'm looking at McDaniel now, and I'm telling you he underachieved with this team. Just like I told you that the talent that's on the Canes this year, Mario Cristobal's an underachiever. Pretty consistent. I don't always credit just the coaches. I look at what the front office has done. and then say, well, wait a minute, bro, you got a lot of talent. You better win, bro. Or in some cases, you haven't won enough. McDaniel. Certainly Mario. My God. Mario's a freaking joke what he did this year. So, I'm not as impressed. Maybe you're a Michigan fan or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But not that impressed, to be quite honest. Just like at Michigan, I'm not that impressed either. It took you all these years with those resources to finally get there? Get out of my face, bro. So it's just, I don't know. I'm a little different in that area. I kind of look at the whole picture and then kind of see it. And, where you think he was marvelous, I say you had to do that your teams were loaded. You better have been really good. I'll give you this with Harbaugh. He didn't underachieve with those teams. I'll say that. Unlike Mike McDaniel this year, has underachieved. Unlike Mario Cristobal, who has massively underachieved this year. Or last year. Let's see. Todd is the poster child for why we need condoms. What happened with Todd? What is Todd somebody who says something stupid? I think Todd's a Jet fan. What's this Todd guy? I see, because he said the Colin Kaepernick stuff. Okay. I see. Yeah. What else? Scott McCullen. That's it. Yes. Scott McCullen's the guy, Gus. Thank you. McCullen and Schneider were in San Francisco together. That's not fair. That's just not fair for the rest of the league to have those two guys in one war room. That's just stupid. Okay? And let me tell you something. If Scott McCullough would have fixed his alcohol issues, because he got several breaks, but if that man would have stayed away from alcohol, he could have done a lot of special things in this league. Schneider's already done it there in Seattle. He's continued to prove, look at Seattle, they still find a way to rise from the ashes. They do a marvelous job in the front office. They've done it for many, many years. So what else do we have? All right. This Sunday will show you how McD responds to serious pressure and the team beat up with injuries. Yeah, I'm kind of terrified of this game, to be quite honest. Unfortunately, I'm terrified of this game. By the way, the Magic are retiring Shaquille O'Neal's number. And this is some weird stuff, I got to say, because he accomplished nothing there. Yeah, they got to a finals and lost to the Rockets, right? I think it was. The Rockets picked them because they were a young team. Nick Anderson. That was like this. That was like the playoff series that ended Nick Anderson's career. One of the weirdest endings for you youngins out there. You have no idea who Nick Anderson even is. But Nick Anderson had, serious talent. And in that series, he missed a bunch of shots that affected him for the rest of his life. And that guy, I don't know what it was. He lost his mental edge and he was never the same player again. That's another story. But Shaq really never accomplished anything there. And, I know the silliness of the Heat also lifting his jersey to the rafters. And I think it's an honor, not a retirement of a number. I think him and Marino, Marino and Jordan, are they honored? I think it is, or is Shaq's retired? Not exactly sure now. Well, I know the Marino and the Jordan ones are honored. Like somebody can use 13 and 23, but maybe the Shaq one, I'm not sure. I have to look it up. if it's honored or really retired. But either way, at least Shaq won a title here, with Wade. He didn't win anything there in Orlando. And where I find this story humorous, and here's the perspective that you need to look at it, okay? As a Heat fan, I want you because this story has like lots of layers to it that's actually really cool for us, at least, not them. So Orlando has no numbers retired because they have no history. They have accomplished nothing as a franchise. And by the way, they had all the luck with Pat Williams early. All they would ever do is win lotteries, and our team never won the lottery. Yet, think about their history and think about our history. All the titles we have, all the trips to the titles, all the trips to the Eastern Conference, all the trips to the playoffs, all the divisional titles, shit that they don't have. They've done a couple of things here or there in their 30-something years of existence, but they've accomplished jack shit. They haven't won anything. And they've been so mediocre at drafting and developing that they also never keep anybody to actually stay there for an entire career so you can legitimately lift their name up to the rafters. Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway and Dwayne Wade. And unlike the Miami Heat, who can lift Pat Riley, can lift players, can lift Spo, all that kind of stuff, right? And so it shows you how pathetically desperate a franchise is to hang something in the rafters because they have nothing. They've never won a title. They're rarely ever even in the playoffs. And I know they have a pretty decent team this year, but I just kind of find it funny that you got to rush this because you've never done anything in 30, whatever it is, 36 years, 37 years of existence. I just found it really, really funny. And a blessing, ladies and gentlemen, because you look at the Miami Heat history and you look at the Orlando Magic history, and there is no comparison. Okay? The Miami Heat history is historic. It is impressive. For the Magic, it's a Mickey Mouse history, basically. Anyway. So let me ask you something. Do the Dolphins have a problem? Because according to Patrick Queen, there is a problem. There's a problem for Miami and there's a problem for San Francisco. Interesting. Yeah, I just said that. There's a problem with Miami and there's a problem with San Francisco. Patrick Queen on the Rich Eisen show. It tells in what Miami does and what and what San Francisco does that I can't say right now, just in case we have to see those guys again. He says, you just got to, I'm sorry. He goes, yeah, you just got to hit guys for 4 quarters. And then Queen said, without specifically revealing any of the tells to Eisen, that's it. And if it takes longer, do it for longer. It really just comes down to it's football. It's got to be a physical game. It's a physical sport. So does Miami have tells? I mean, did the tells help them last year? Because they lost. I think Patrick Queen is full of shit, by the way. To be quite honest. There's no tells when defensive backs can't stay with receivers and they're arguing with each other that they don't know what the hell they're supposed to do. I can tell that the Miami defense didn't know what the hell it was doing. That was my tell. Okay? I can tell that Mike McDaniel was an idiot for hurrying up the 2-minute play right before the half. I can tell that Mike McDaniel was dumb for making Jeff Wilson a receiver in traffic. I can tell that Tyreek drops too many touchdowns. I can tell that Chase Claypool should have caught a touchdown. I mean, should I continue? I can tell that Mike McDaniel can't win a challenge. I mean, I can just go on and on and on and on. I can tell that Mike McDaniel shouldn't have gone for that 2-point conversion that early in the third quarter when he didn't need it. He needed that point. A lot of football to be played yet. No reason to be that aggressive that early. I can tell you that. There's a lot of tells with the Miami Dolphins. Patrick Queen. And what I can tell is that they're not prepared for big moments because the coach has failed to prepare them for big moments. Those are my tells. Okay? That's the way I'm going to look at it. I think Patrick Queen is full of shit. I just think the Baltimore Ravens were just better that day. And the Dolphins weren't. There are no tells. And you got after Purdy. And like any other quarterback, get after him, hit him. You will cause issues for them. You do that with the Dolphins, you will cause issues for them. You do that to Tom Brady, you will cause issues for him. That's kind of the facts overall when it comes to anybody in sports, pretty much. When sports and business collide, we love doing something, and this is an amazing story, called the KSDT CPA Sports Business. It's a freaking awesome story. Report. So, Sean, let me ask you something. Do you know anything about the top 100 shows on television this year? Just in case, before I ask you this question.
I actually saw this.
Oh, you suck. Was it amazing or what?
Yeah, I was about to send it to you because of what we discussed yesterday.
I mean, this is like the most incredible story out there. Okay. So as it turns out, the NFL had, per Nielsen, 93 of this year's top 100 shows. Let me repeat that again. The NFL had the top 93 out of 100 shows on television in the United States. All of the programming everywhere else got 7%. You name it. Financial, news, sports, whatever, movies, you name it. All of it. Any kind of programming that's opposite of the NFL got 7 out of 100. This is ridiculous. And the NFL prints money, bro. This is why they will never stop growing. This is why they are the most powerful league in the world. Okay? Not Serie A, not the Premiership. We know soccer's number one, but there is no league in the world. Okay? The Spanish Primera League, the Bundesliga, they all get bitch slapped by the NFL. Okay? It's not even close. The power of the NFL over anything. Period. End of story. 93 out of 100. All right? By the way, last year it was 82. That's ridiculous. So, here we go. It was widely accepted that TV is merely a delivery system for live sports and insurance commercials. Last year's delivery suggests the rest of the so-called Big Four leagues have remanded to a shadow tier, with 3 college football games thrown into the mix in 2023, marked for the first time in a single sports registered in the top 100. Basketball missed the cut. CBS's presentation of San Diego State UConn's tilt was this year's 101 most watched broadcast. The Ponies had a good run, with NBC's coverage of the race segment of the 149th Kentucky Derby claiming the 106th spot, while the NBA notched its biggest draw of Game 5 of the Heat Nuggets final was number 120. The concluding round of the 87th Masters tournament landed at number 131, while Game 5 of the World Series earned bragging rights as the year's top 140th most watched television event. Outside of the usual non-sports outliers, the State of the Union address was 97. Macy's Thanksgiving Parade was the only non-football outing to crack the top 50, while the Academy Awards clawed its way back to the TV upper echelon in 2023, marked by the conspicuous absence of the regularly scheduled entertainment programming. The 56th season premiered of CBS's flagship magazine, 60 Minutes, was the highest-ranking non-sports program at 136. The lone scripted highlight of the strike-belighted fall season was CBS's encore presentation of Yellowstone's pilot, which just fell shy of the top 200 with an average of 6.8 million viewers. For the sake of comparison, the repurposed Paramount IP scared up 3.1 million viewers for LSU Iowa's women's hoops final, which was 161. It's crazy. I mean, you think about it. 93 out of 100. All right. By the way, in a record-smashing year for the NFL, one in which the overall TV ratings are up 8% versus last year, a relatively limited roster of teams accounted for much of the league's biggest deliveries. As much as, forget about that. The Dallas Cowboys were the biggest ratings drivers in 23 with an average draw of 25.2 million viewers across its 13 national TV appearances. America's team accounted for no fewer than 18 of this year's 100 biggest audiences. So the constant choking of the Cowboys still does not. I guess we also love train wrecks in this country. So the Cowboys are popular and a train wreck, so they actually bring both things. Now that I think about it, the train wreck part of it is why people also watch the Cowboys. Also putting in work were the Kansas City Chiefs, who claimed 16 of the top slots, edging with their Super Bowl opponent in Philly. Meanwhile, the NFL's top-rated local team also proved to be a big national attraction, as the Buffalo Bills closed out with 13 of the top 100 showings. Lastly, there's still 1 week of the regular season action left to unfold this weekend, and the Nielsen gods may be getting ready to crown a new ratings champ for the first time in 15 years. Fox's America's Game of the Week window has cast a long shadow over the TV landscape. CBS's own Sunday 425 ESPN slate may steal the title as the tube's top-ranked program once final numbers are tabulated next Thursday. I mean, this is crazy. Number 1 was the Super Bowl last year. Number 2 was the AFC Championship game. Number 3 was the NFC Championship game. Number 4 was the NFC Divisional Playoff game between the Cowboys and the Niners. Number 5 was the Thanksgiving Day game. Number 6 was the AFC Divisional Playoff game with the Bengals in Buffalo. Number 7 was the early Thanksgiving Day game with Green Bay and Detroit. Number 8 was a wild card playoff game with the Giants and the Vikings. Number 9, the AFC divisional game with the Chiefs and the Jags. And number 10 was the Week 16 game of the Cowboys and the Dolphins. So, Dolphins, by the way, had the 13th spot with the AFC wildcard game against the Bills.
since it's all about us, out of the top 50, the Dolphins were only in 2 of them. Yep. Yep. Number 10 and number 13 out of the top 50. Well, let's see if I can get the other 50. Here we go. 51. Sunday night, week 7, Dallas and Dolphins. Let's see. So far, they have 3 out of the top 100. That's it. 3 out of the top 100, and they're in the top 51 for the Dolphins. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Adolfo, thank you for the super chat, sir. Ryan Tannehill, a QB. Yep, I never thought he was. Lost me on that comment. What contracts do you think Tua will get? A fat one. And what 49ers team is better? The defense is better on the Colin Kaepernick one. The offense is better on this one, because Purdy's a better, a more accurate passer than Colin Kaepernick. He's a better consistent passer overall, and I like their weapons overall better. But the defense on the other one was as nasty as it gets. The one thing I would switch maybe would be Warner. That's it. But they had 2 nasty linebackers. Oh my God. They had a bunch of gifted monsters at linebacker, actually. You know what? I'm fine. They can keep Fred Warner. That linebacking crew was beastly, actually. So I'll go their defense and this offense. That's kind of the way I would look at it. And Adolfo, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Very nice of you. Appreciate you. I don't know if I forgot any other super chats there. Cash App or Venmo. Ho Yoon, thank you, sir. Have a relaxing weekend. Thank you, Ho Yoon. You know what I would need for a relaxing weekend? A win on Sunday night. That would be good. You know, I am terrified of that game on Sunday night, my brother. But thank you, Ho Yoon, as always, for the support. Let me do a little music and entertainment. We love doing that. Let's get to that. Here we go. Let's go with birthdays today, first and foremost. Bradley Cooper, actor, is 49 years old. Marilyn Manson is 55 years old. January Jones, she is 46 years old. Carrie Ann Inaba is 56 years old. Deadmau5, not that I listen to that music, but I know who Deadmau5 is. He is 43 years old. Clancy Brown, actor, always plays a bad guy, 65 years old. Some guys are typecasted. Clancy Brown is one of those typecasted actors. Diane Keaton and the Turtlenecks are 78 years old. Christian Cavallari, tell us about the latest person you banged. She is 37 years old. Some reggaeton singer named Daryl. I don't know much about reggaeton. I don't really give a shit about that music. But he might be famous. Robert Duvall. one of the great actors of all time, 93 years old, exceptional actor. Vinnie Jones, actor, is 59. Walter Mondale was born on this date in 1928, passed away in 2021. What a terrible ticket that was. Carter Mondale. Ugh, bad. Very good man, Carter. Very mediocre president. Those are your birthdays today. Let's see. Oh, I don't think I ended up. How about that? I don't think I ended up saving the music history. How about that? Now I got to find it. But we will. We will find it. We will find it. In 68 on this date, Jimi Hendrix was jailed for 1 day in Stockholm, Sweden, after going berserk and destroying everything in his room at the Goldberg Hotel. Booze was suspected to play a role in his behavior. He's a rock star. You're not an official rock star if you don't trash hotel rooms. So good for you, Jimmy. Rest in peace, and way to destroy that hotel room. Although I just wish you would have, not OD'd. We kind of needed you past 27, bro. Would have been nice to watch you grow old, and it would have been nice for me to be able to see you live. That really, I mean, in the end, it's all about me, Jimmy. And you cheated me out of seeing you, sir. Rest in peace, Jimmy. We miss you. In 73, Bruce Springsteen released his debut album, Greetings from Asbury Park. It was recorded in a single week. The album only sold about 25,000 copies in the first year of its release. Both Blinded by the Light and Spirit in the Night were put out as singles, but neither made a dent in the charts. In 84, the Police announced a March 2nd, 1984 farewell concert to be held in Australia. The group had been together for 9 years. In 79, it's just all they did were they just kept tolerating Sting. In 79, because apparently Sting is like a king-size asshole. In 79, Prince made his live debut at Minneapolis Capri Theater. Record executives attended the show but felt the singer needed time to develop his music. If you watch Purple Rain, it kind of mirrors all that kind of stuff. It's such a good movie, man. Such a good movie. And Apollonia. Lord, there are moments where you make Da Vinci just, you shame him. Just want you to know, you shame him sometimes. Halle Berry, Apollonia 6, Raquel Welch. There are moments, where you just shame them all. And you come up with these sculptures that, are just amazing. I just want you to know that, dude. Just want you to know. In 2003, Green Bay and singer Billy Joe Armstrong were arrested on suspicion of drunken driving after being stopped in California, speeding in a black BMW convertible. He failed the breath test and was taken to jail. But where's the destroyed hotel room, Billy? That's what we need. And that's what happened today in Musica history. All right. There you go. Oh, by the way, a little music news also. Billy Joel has added new dates to his 2024 tour. Speaking of the aforementioned asshole Sting, he is opening up for Billy Joel on some dates, and so is Stevie Nicks. All right. And if you want to see Sting with Billy Joel, you can catch him in Tampa on February 24th, Raymond James Stadium. You can catch him in San Diego at Petco Park on April 13th. And St. Louis at Busch Stadium. If you want to see him with Stevie Nicks, June 21st, Soldier Field in Chicago.
Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, March 9th. Those are the only 2 dates with Stevie. There you go. Okay. And by the way, he's in New York on January 1st, Tampa, February 24th, February 9th, New York, Madison Square Garden, March 9th, Arlington, Texas, March 28th, Madison Square Garden again, April 13th, San Diego, April 26th, Madison Square Garden, May 9th, Madison Square Garden, May 24th, Seattle T-Mobile, June 8th, Madison Square Garden, June 21st, Chicago Soldier Field, July 12th, Denver, Colorado Coors Field, July 25th, Madison Square Garden, August 9th, Cardiff, UK at the Cardiff Principality Stadium, and September 27th, St. Louis at Busch Stadium. So if you want to catch it, those are your dates. Can we dance with your dates? Sad story. In a way, right? This is kind of a little bit of a sad story. Goran Dragic has announced his retirement and also had an honest admission. And this one kind of hit me in the heart a little bit, because I actually think he can help a little bit at times, specifically when you think about who's starting. But anyway, Goran Dragic came into the league in the 08-09 season, second-round draft choice out of San Antonio. His longest tenure with one team was with the Miami Heat. Dragic admitted per NBA Central that he didn't want to play again in his native Europe and that the only team he wanted to play for this season was the Heat. But it didn't quite work out. I never wanted to go back to Europe. I wouldn't want to be without my children living in the U.S. for a year. The only option was Miami, with whom I was in talks. In the end, it didn't work out. I'm a little sad with that, right? Because Goran is incredibly liked by all of us in the Heat Nation, right? And it's just one where I think he could have taken the last spot on the roster here. Tax issues again. Anyway, in the end, it didn't work out because they have too many players under contract. Or tax issues? It's just, when I watch Kyle Lowry play at times, it's like, really? Come on. Help me out here. I don't know. Am I that off, Sean, on this one? Would you not want Goran the last spot on the team? No? You don't think he can help out a little bit at point guard?
I'm not going to say that he couldn't help out, but I feel like then you're doing the UD thing all over again, right? Because how much are you going to be bringing them in every game? You got all these young guys now that are really
point guards. Point guards?
Yeah, but
where?
You've shown that you haven't had to use them with Spo using and the spacing on the floor.
Yeah, the off guards. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You haven't had to use them. So
Jimmy, Tyler,
yes,
and Jay Rich. I understand that, but like, who's the last spot on the roster?
I don't know. Do we have a last spot yet? Have they filled? Didn't they have an opening? We had an opening.
Yeah, I think they only have 14 out of the 15, right?
I think so. I haven't seen anybody say they signed anybody. So, but I don't know, man. I just don't know that. Again, the recipe, and you have the chef mixing the recipe perfect now. Does that just to sign Goran for a good story, a good headline? Does it work out once you throw him in with everybody else that we have? I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Gordon. Has he played recently? Like, I know he was signed last year, but I don't think he ever played on the team, right?
No, he has not played at all this year.
Yeah. And he barely played last year, so he's almost been 2 years off the court.
Yeah. Dude, Pendle's down 9%, down to 138. Just little crypto talk here for you guys. I told you about Pendle yesterday. Today there's a dip in the market. You know what we do on dips here. I think I'm diving into Pendle now. I have not gotten any Pendle. I think I'm going to get Pendle now. I really like Pendle. I told you guys about a bunch of them, last couple of days. Let me see where those are at that and Pendle was one of them, but I'm going to get into Pendle now. I'm definitely going to get into Pendle. Kryptonite is down 39%. I love freaking Kryptonite. Remember, if you have to, a tip for you guys, coinmarketcap.com, any crypto that I talk about or whatever, you want to know where it's sold, you just go to CoinMarketCap, put it in there, scroll down. It'll tell you the DeFi or the crypto exchanges that are selling it. And remember what I told you. If you want to learn how to use the DeFi platform to connect your wallet to it and all that, or you want to learn how to use any of those crypto sites, you go to YouTube, and whatever site you're trying to learn how to use, put it there on YouTube. I want to learn how to use Uniswap and connect with my cold storage wallet or connect to whatever wallet that you have. And YouTube, there'll be a video for it. And it'll show you, and that way you can then do it and learn. Okay? But Kryptonite that I love, huge dip right now, which is sweet. GameSwift I love. They're actually one of the few that are up. They're up 7.4%. They were up yesterday also, but it's funny. They're going against the grain right now. I love Beam. They're down 13%. Beam's gone down a little bit here. Is a nice place. Roll Bitcoin, I told you about it a couple days ago. It was up 5% yesterday. It's down 2.8 right now. Pendle, which I love, it was at $1.20 when I first told you about it. It went all the way up to $1.49, $1.50. It's at $1.33 right now, down 9.8%. I had not gotten into Pendle. I'm getting into Pendle when I'm off the air here. What's the other one that I told you guys about? Hive Mapper. It was like up 100%. Right now it's at 0. It's not negative or it's not positive, but the market's down and it's 0. It was up 100%. When I first told you about a Hive Mapper, it might have been at 14 cents or something, or 12 cents. Now it's at 22 cents. Okay. Demo is another one that I told you about. It's up 1.9%. It's up to 36 cents. Alephium, which was up a ton yesterday, is down 7.5%. I love Alephium. I think you can make a lot of money with Alephium. It's at $1.47 right now, and it's down 7.5%. Swarm Markets. Love Swarm Markets. Also down 1.5% at 32 cents. Tectrum. First time I told you about Tectrum a couple days ago was at $20. It's down 2% right now. It's up to $27.20. Okay? When I told you it was at 20, it's up to $27. Vulcan Forge. It's down 5%. It's at $7.33. So some of them are some really good plays that you can get in on. And good luck to you all. Do your homework. Remember, I am not a financial advisor by any stretch whatsoever. And by the way, I love that Neutron, their all-time high was 137. And I told you a couple days ago when it was at 96, 97, 98 cents, 99 cents, take advantage. A great dip. It got all the way up to 145, an all-time high last night. And Neutron is still up right now, 4.5%. So while the market's red, the market was red before, Neutron was pumping. Neutron is still pumping. Now it's at $1.27. Now you're not getting the deals you were before. But remember, as I told you, it was at $1.45 at an all-time high. So it's going to go past the $1.45. So if you get in at $1.27, and right now it is headed downward in the last 8 hours. So in the last 8 hours, it's down 10.65%. So it's up for the 24 hours, 4.5%, but it's trending right now down. So you want to kind of follow this dip here and try to get in on the bottom of this dip also. Not a financial advisor by any stretch. I am just a guy that likes sports. That's it. Okay? So don't hold it against me. Oh, man. All right. What else do we have? Rest in peace, David Soul of Starsky and Hutch passed away at the age of 80. And we've got another one. When sports and business collide. Got a nice story here. We like doing our KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Well, the Miami Hurricanes, after beating Clemson, got themselves a nice little present. Yep. After beating Clemson 95-82 on Wednesday night, the Canes had a surprise waiting for them when they got back to the locker room at the Watsco Center. Adidas supplied the Canes with their first signature sneaker of Minnesota Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards. The Hurricanes social media team shared an incredible video of the players celebrating the win and unboxing their new basketball shoes. The Adidas AE1 launched in the orange and black with love and colorway for $120 on December 16, 2023. The highly anticipated sneaker sold out quickly online, but they can still be found just above the retail price on the resale website StockX. Adidas and the University of Miami agreed to a 12-year deal in 2015 that runs through 2027. During their time as partners, Adidas has supplied the athletic department with the best gear and brands it has to offer. In return, the Hurricanes have scored touchdowns and cut down nets. They cut down nets, but they don't talk about winning anything in football, huh? They just scored touchdowns sometimes. Fans stock up on officially licensed Hurricane apparel and footwear on the Adidas website. Conference play is just getting, whatever. All right, that's it. But it's pretty cool. They got themselves some AE1.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water.
There we go. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. That stuff happens. But anyways, there you go. So they got themselves the AE1s. Let's see what we got here. We got a super chat. No. Let's see. Here we go. True Fin fan. Every time I think of Sunday, I sharp myself. I hope. True Fin fan. What are your thoughts on Penix Jr. in the NFL? I like him. He's accurate. He's an interesting cat. I need to see more of him. I got to be honest. I haven't watched enough of him, but I did watch this past weekend. That kid lit it up, bro. That was fun to watch. Big time.
True Fin Fan says, I hope we win. Maybe this fan base the fan base deserves tons of wins. They deserve a whole bunch of playoff wins. The fan base has been dealing with a lot of mediocrity and underperforming from the Miami Dolphins for many, many years now, many decades. So I can't tell you how much fans deserve, way more than what the Dolphins. In fact, the Dolphins don't deserve the support they've gotten the last 25 years. How do you like them apples? That's how good our fan base is. I mean, you go look at it. It's one of the most sold out stadiums in the NFL on a consistent basis, and they have not earned that. Last 2 years, they've gotten better, but over the last 25 years, our fans have been too good to the Dolphins. Okay? Too good. That's the way I look at it. Sometimes they pick on our fan base. Our fan base is exceptional, dude. They have put up with a lot of bullshit for a long time. So I think we have a very impressive fan base. I got to tell you. They tolerate so much. Christian DiMartino on Venmo, thank you. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Oh, prefer this was a 1 o'clock game. Yeah, so do Sean and I. Yeah, we do too, by the way. We all know this team's track record in the primetime spotlight under the lights. I really do not want to have to lay in bed staring at the ceiling, purely disgusted. Yeah. You're speaking my language, my brother, okay? That's what you're doing. You're speaking my language. That's exactly the way I think of it. And thank you for the donation, as always, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. And we got just like a tiny dip in crypto. You can make a Bitcoin donation too. About that. You can make an Ethereum donation. Nobody's ever made an Ethereum donation on the show. That's actually, I always say Bitcoin. You get the Bitcoin or Ethereum. What the hell? Nobody's ever made. Who's going to be the first to ever make an Ethereum donation on the show? That's trippy right there, bro. That's pretty cool. D Wolverine 305. Sir, you need to make cuts with just going off on people. It brightens up the day. McD has been given more weapons than past coaches. No excuses. Oh yeah, McD is given the best team that we've seen here in 30 years. For sure. Yeah, so you love me ripping into people, okay? Some of you do enjoy me ripping into people. Big O, my biggest thing with this season is abandoning the run game. In-game manager. You know what I mean? I think that's the problem. I think that problem alone being fixed will change a lot of the problems we have, keep the defense off the field, health, etc. But, Joe, you're right. It would help. But how about if he wins challenges? Not win a challenge, win challenges, like often, like more than you lose. Would that help? Would it help to have the play in on time? Would it help not to rush a play like you did this past week when there was no reason to rush a play and get a play in before the 2-minute warning when you're on their side of the field? I mean, catastrophically stupid shit. So would it help that you don't put Jeff Wilson out as a receiver in traffic? Would it help that you don't force the ball to Tyreek when he's covered by 3 people? Would it help that you don't force the ball to Waddle when he's covered by 3 people? You see what I'm saying? I'm with you, baby, on the run game. But his in-game management skills, they need to be fine-tuned all over the place. It's not just about abandoning the run at times. He does do that. He did it less this year than last year. I will give him that credit, okay? But he still did it this year. Too much overall. But that's my thing. There's a lot of other things that he does. Is he going to keep throwing fades to Tyreek Hill? You know? So there's a lot of things that go on, and I can just keep thinking about them during the game that he does, that he sets his team back consistently. He didn't go for 3 points against the Cowboys early. Stupid in-game decision. At the end of the game, you have to have a game-winning drive to win. Instead, you had those 3 points earlier. Would have made your life a lot easier at that final drive. This past week, he went for a 2-point conversion so early in the third quarter that he did not have to. Mathematically, he didn't have to. Plus, there was so much football to be left to be played that why are you going to put yourself at risk of making another mistake and putting yourself behind another point when the point is there to take? I can point at so much shit that Mike McDaniel does inside a game where he makes terrible decisions. And he has to improve there. So you're right. It's abandoning the run. He still does it less than last year, but he still does it. But he has a laundry list of stuff that he has to get better at. You know, I'm sorry. And if you don't get better in those areas, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. You're not going to win because you're going to keep putting your team and setting them back with your decisions. And one more thing. I think the locker room's too loose. I think he's too loose. That's why Tyreek drops so many touchdowns. That's why Waddle drops so many touchdowns. That's why they drop so many passes. And so there's this thing like you make a mistake and, you know, it's like water off a duck's back, and it should not be that way. I don't think the team plays with the kind of urgency. When I watched the Ravens play every week under John Harbaugh for years, they play hungry. They play like dogs in every game. And I cannot tell you that about this team with this coach. So I think the attitude also, but the problem is once you have displayed who you are, you can't change. And you can't come. Unfortunately, Mike McDaniel cannot become Mr. Disciplinarian. You know? And you're certainly not Mr. Disciplinarian when, you know, you tell your team in a team meeting, where was it? Frustrations about expectations? Who gives a fuck about that? Yeah, nah. So the issues are a little deeper. And it has nothing to do with knowing offense or knowing quarterbacks or knowing offensive linemen and that part. That's his strength. It's the whole other stuff. So it's a lot more than just abandoning the run. And I hope he figures it out. He's got another year before the crap hits the fan and all you people start freaking out. Would you consider trading Hero and Triple J to Cleveland for Mitchell? No way, no how, no nothing. No. I'm not trading Triple J for any of these kind of cats. I like Triple J. Triple J might turn into a star himself, dude. So no. Big O, do you think Tua is a $200 million quarterback? I don't believe so. Need to have a Tom Brady mindset, make good money, help the team afford players. Yeah, is he married to a model that makes $100 million? Because he took his money on the back end of that deal. Some of you, Chael, you live in fantasy land, my brother. You want him to take less money and to get more players. He's not married to a woman that makes more money than him. Nobody is in the NFL except Tom Brady. Tom Brady was the only guy. The only other guy is not married yet,
and he probably gets married after he leaves football, and he probably retires this year or next year. If Travis Kelce marries Taylor Swift, he would be the only other guy in the NFL that married somebody that makes way more money than him. Okay? Taylor Swift makes more money in 1 month than Kelce does in 5 years. So, it's really easy for then Brady to take less money when Giselle is making $200 million a year and all that stuff. So I get it, bro. You're one of those anti-Tua guys, so you can't believe that he's the guy, and you're like the other guy. Well, I need Tua to perform at a high level. Well, he does, but you're blaming him for everything. So you need him to win a big game. Well, he won the Kansas City game. It was Tyreek that lost it. But let's be, why be fair? So I get it, bro. You're an anti-Tua guy. Okay, so what do you do? Because in one breath, we praise him for being able to communicate with today's NFL players, and on the other hand, we bury him because he's actually is the communication working? I'm sorry, I must have missed that. Communication. Do we still have a bunch of mistakes being made? Are people dropping passes? Did the team look like on defense that they knew exactly where they were supposed to be last week? I must have missed that. The communication. Has he communicated to Tyreek Hill to stop dropping touchdowns and passes? Has he communicated to Waddle that he's constantly dropping passes and touchdowns too? I'm sorry, I must have missed that. Communication. How was the communication before the 2 minutes this past week against Baltimore? How'd that communicating go? No, he's understanding of today's human beings. Communication's not there. It's not there yet. Not at all. How do you think Spo and Larinaga communicate with their players? You think they get the message? I think so, right? So you tell me, why are the same mistakes being made? How's the communication between the coach and the guy up above for reviews? Boy, that communicating must be fucking fantastic because their results are outstanding. How's that communication going? No, he's an understanding man. The communication, I'm not sure it's reaching yet. And the examples are all there. It's undisciplined all the time. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm not exactly sure about that. You're mixing communication and reaching with actual understanding. Okay, so I understand your feelings. That's great. Now catch the goddamn ball. I'm not sure. So I would challenge you on that communication stuff. Because that's kind of part of my problem right now with what's going on, what's developed, unfortunately, and what needs to be eliminated in 2024. He must become a much cleaner head coach on game day. Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, but nobody's held accountable here. You know what I mean? So I would have Tyreek Hill running the entire stadium every time he drops a touchdown. I'm like, brother, we pay you to catch those things. After Kansas City, I would have had him run the stadium 8 times over. So you want to talk all that shit against Kansas City and you're going to be their nightmare and all that shit. Brother, you were their dream. You were their dream. You dropped what could have been a touchdown or points and a beautiful bomb by Tua, and then you gave them 7.
So, bring back the wall. Bring back Flo's wall. Do something. But I'm not sure that communication and discipline are there right now. Too many of the same mistakes over and over. And the coach makes the same mistakes over and over and over again. Got to clean it up, man. Got to clean it up. Taylor Swift will demand a prenup from Kelsey. And you sign it, bro. Who gives a shit? He's got his own money. Let's see. When I say communicate and mean coaching style, he's not a hard-nosed Flores. He's soft regarding discipline and holding players accountable, but I appreciate your point. Communication sucks on that team, dude. And there is not communicating there, because I'm sure they talk about the drops and then they keep happening. I'm sure they talk about mistakes and they keep happening. And I'm sure the coach keeps saying, well, I screwed up, and it keeps happening. The communication there ain't very good. Big O, would you kick the tires for Harbaugh? Oh, no, I'm not. Cheo, obviously the Tua and now this, you're like a negative dude. Just, we're nowhere. I'm now nowhere even close to firing McDaniel or anything. Not even close. All I'm warning is that all this shit continues by the end of next season. People will be all over his ass. If he has another bad finish, that'll be 3 bad finishes, and it's super talented team. He is going to get the kind of heat that he does not want to deal with. I'm telling you, because I know what's going to happen. So I have no interest on talking about replacing Mike McDaniel whatsoever. I am only interested in warning people that the man is now starting to put himself in a position where over the next year, that subject is going to start being approached. That's all I've been saying. And so I have zero, and I have no interest in Jim Harbaugh, by the way. Zero. I would, even if the Dolphins had an opening, I wouldn't want, Jim Harbaugh here. John Harbaugh I'll take, but not Jim Harbaugh. Okay. Big O, has Vic Fangio always been an in the box as the defensive coordinator? And do you think guys on defense would benefit from having him on the sidelines? Nothing has changed for Vic. He's been the same dude from the get-go. So T. Hill would have the Dolphins TD reception record. 18, Mark Clayton for sure, if he held on to all the drop TDs. Ifs don't count in anything in life, my brother. By the end of next season, if he's a game away from winning the division in the playoffs, he'll be on the hot seat. Like I said, Gonzo, if he continues to do the same thing he's done these last 2 years, he'll be on the hot seat. Yep. You're looking at it too simplistic. You're just like the Flow people. Oh, but how are they going to fire him in the middle of the winning streak? Because, you idiots, he's only winning against bad teams. The good teams, he went 1-6. You're not paying attention to the start. You're paying attention to the end. You're not paying attention to the big picture. And the big picture is they gave him more talent to do more than what he's done. And that's the problem. In the end, he should have won some of the bigger games. And he certainly should have won against Tennessee. He can't even split against good teams. And he's got 2 more left. Buffalo, and then whatever the playoff game is. Let's see how he does, because if he loses those 2 games, that means he won Dallas and nothing else. So you tell me, if that continues, how do you keep him? You keep giving him the talent, but he's not getting the results? Can't do that. Can't do that. So that's the problem with some of you out there. You're looking at it too simplistic. Oh, but we got 11 wins. Oh, but we're in the playoffs. No, you're supposed to get it. You have the talent. You need to do more, and you're not. And the Tennessee game was just, that's practically like committing a crime for a head coach. By the way, there you go. You want a free $100? Hialeah Park, baby, right there. Now, if you have a Hard Rock account already, do not use the same email or phone number. Use a completely different phone number or email so you can get your no regret first bet $100. You got the Dolphins this weekend that you can make a bet on. You got the Heat and the Suns tonight. You got UM and Wake Forest tomorrow. So you got the Steelers and Ravens, Texans, Colts. You got a lot of games to bet on. So there's your money. So use that QR code right there. And remember, if you have a Hard Rock account already, use a completely different phone number or email. You will not be able to get the $100 if you use the same one with your Hard Rock account. Just giving you the heads up. Use the wife's phone or the wife's email or something, or girlfriend if she allows you. There you go. Taylor Swift is not marriage material. Okay. I would imagine that Luis Medina has like tons of women lined up waiting to marry him. Let's see. I think a lot of people are having buyer's remorse right now when it comes to our coach. It's sad. Nah, I don't think so. That's just you, Cap, because you're a totally negative person. You tried to slip in something positive early on the show, but we know. We thank Cameron Wolf and Manny Navaro, and of course, the legend that is Sean Stanley, who masters this platform every single day. We thank our great sponsors. We will see you all on Sunday night, where I'm praying for the best and hoping that the worst does not show up. You all be good. We'll see you Sunday night, same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the